So basically, what do we do and what do we do?
He obviously came on a cool day when there was
Well, I prefer this for the small chips.